Hello Mr. Pen family, and welcome back to our YouTube channel. If you're new here, hi, we are Mr. Pen. Happy Mr. Pen Monday. Every single Monday we upload weekly review videos. Today's video is going to be something a little different. It's actually going to be a comparison video. So I have here these Mr. Pen colorful gel pens. You can see them here. And then these Z-Grip pens. I think these are by Zebra, yes. So as you can see, they look very similar on the outside with the pastel colors. So I'm going to open these up and test them out. Okay, so as you can see, I have them all laid out here. For the sake of this video, there were 2 of each Zebra pen, but I just went ahead and took out the duplicates so we can just compare the individual pens. So there is a few differences right off the bat. Obviously, the Mr. Pen pack does come with one other color than, I mean, they're all black ink, but in reference to the outside of the pen, this Mr. Pen pack does have an orange color, and then this one does not. Other than that, they do have just a slight difference in the tones. Like, as you can see, the purples are slightly different. This one's a little bit more pink, and this one's a little bit more lavender. This Zebra one is a little bit more blue, and this Mr. Pen one is slightly more green. Just little differences like that. The Mr. Pen yellow is slightly lighter. The Mr. Pen blue is significantly darker. And then the pinks, those are pretty similar. The Mr. Pen one is slightly darker. So you can just see the minor differences on the outside, but they are all black ink, so I will definitely show you guys that. And then as for the labels on the side, you can see this one, it says medium, Zebra, Z-Grip, and then this one just says Mr. Pen. That's how flexible this one is. And then this one has a little clip, so it definitely feels a lot different because this one you can like press on, and this one you just kind of have to lift up like that. So this one and this one are slightly different. They both are pretty similar lengthwise. The Mr. Pen one is slightly longer, I think. And then I think it's also maybe slightly wider, but they're pretty similar in size. They have different grips on them. As you can see, this one has this little thing going on there, and then the Mr. Pen one is just more like smooth, and then this one has a bit more texture to it. So that is one of the immediate differences. And then also, if you take a look at the little clickers, this one is smaller and this one is a little bit bigger. So they both are easy to click, and they both do come with the little things on the tips of the pen that you have to remove to protect it until you use it. So I do appreciate that from both of the brands. So let me go ahead and test these out for you guys. Okay, so I'm going to start with the Zebra Purple. I'm just going to take the little protective seal off, and I'm just going to write Zebra. Maybe do a little line, a little squiggle. That definitely writes smooth. It definitely feels nice. So I'm gonna just test it out a little more and then move on to the Mr. Pen one, and I'm just gonna go color by color. So now I have this Mr. Pen Purple. Took off the protective seal. Okay, this one I think feels more firm when you write with it, as opposed to this one feels a little bit more like loose. I also think that this ink is slightly darker. I don't know if you can tell right now, but I will definitely show you guys that later. Yeah, I can definitely notice this one feels a lot like looser, maybe like lighter when you write with it, I think. And then the Mr. Pen one, let's see. This one definitely feels a lot firmer, like you have a lot more control over it when you're writing. Okay, so that's the Zebra blue pen. Let's try out the Mr. Pen blue pen. I definitely feel like this ink is slightly bolder. I think maybe that's because it naturally presses down harder, but I think that it's a very firm pen. So I'm going to move on to the yellow. Zebra. Mr. Pen. Okay. Moving on to the pink zebra pen and Mr. Pen pen. Here's the zebra one. Okay, and I accidentally scribbled a little bit here with the Mr. Pen pen, but that is from Mr. Pen, and then here writing with that one. Okay, so final verdict. I do think that the Mr. Pen pens are very comparable to the zebra pens. Let me just set this tripod down so I can talk to you guys. All right, so I know just a few things to point out. I know I said this several times in the video. The zebra pens are definitely, they give a lighter feel when you write with them. They seem a lot more free and you don't have as much control with them versus the Mr. Pen ones. I feel like they press down slightly harder and you have a lot more control with them. They feel more sturdy, so keep that in mind whenever you're choosing a pen, what you want it to feel like when you write with it. They both do write smooth though. I do think the Mr. Pen ones turn out a little bolder, so I try to show that to you guys in these little squares. Obviously this one's a little less colored in, but I think part of that is because the Mr. Pen one was a lot easier to fill in the square with. It was a lot smoother, and I think maybe it has a slightly bigger point. Let's just take a look at that really quick. Those are just what the points look like, so, you know, keep that in mind. They do look pretty similar. There might be a slight difference. But another thing that I did want to point out is the price difference. So currently on Amazon, the zebra pens are selling for $6.87 and the Mr. Pen pens are selling for $5.65. So there's a bit over $1 difference there. So keep that in mind as well. I think both are definitely great, well-working pens, but obviously my preference would have to be the Mr. Pen versus the zebra. Let me just show you one last time. So I definitely think that these are very comparable. They have some slight differences, so definitely keep that in mind when you're choosing a pen, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for next Mr. Pen Monday.